Because, our message is like, we're as mad as you are, and come on and join the party and being angry at them. You don't have to cross party lines, you don't have to, trade in your conservative cred, but you can certainly oppose what they're doing.
Yeah.
So we do have some people already, so we're there's Laura and Doug. Bingham, Kathleen?
My. Yeah, scoot over next to you, look close to Jillian, so I'm not
Just
showing
double
off
check.
camera. Yeah, oh, never mind, I can see, okay, there we go.
Maybe that is Doug. Yes.
I also saw the notice that the B line transit funding for the next Madison.
Oh,
like
that's in
BRT route
Yeah.
was in jeopardy.
Yeah.
What isn't in jeopardy? Like, that's honestly like
Defense funding,
yeah,
anything that comes from defense funding is probably fine.
I admit, we got the notice. Sitting there as our team and we're like at Garber Feed Mill, so we're under the F-35 takeoff routes. And they just take off and I just screamed and started. Weeping.
I'll check over.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. In my pocket, I gotta put it in a different place.
Are we recording her? Yeah, I have to assume that everything is gonna start affecting people in this state more directly soon, since state budget projections are based on assumptions about federal funding, so I don't see how.
Anybody else?
Nobody else is out there.
Okay. If I have, Kathleen is actually Doug.
Have you ridden the bus yet?
No, we got back from Arizona Friday.
Oh, okay.
It's been lovely weather. I haven't needed to.
Yeah, I only
Been
ran, I
raining,
only
right.
went once when it was rainy and it was very, I love just swipe.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order of the City of Monona Mass Transit Commission.
There he is.
Wednesday. Hey.
So everybody's here.
Wednesday. What's today? The 13th.
It's actually,
Wednesday the 13th, and you have the role.
yeah,
So glad you're here.
Well, I couldn't
So
not
nice.
see you guys.
this is,
At my
it's
last
been corrected on the
meeting.
ones on the posted ones.
I was just worried I was parked on the wrong side of the street.
Okay, so, Laura, we're sorry you're not here in person, but we totally understand why, and we know you're here, really, so.
Good.
So glad you're doing well.
I don't know if I can turn this off.
As far as I know, there are no appearances since there's now, nobody on the screen,
Was that you?
I didn't join, no.
okay. And,
Oh, shoot, I was trying to,
was Madison Metro is not making an appearance, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. There is no unfinished business, so we just want to go to new business. 6A, update discussion of Madison
Do we
Metro.
need to do the roll call?
yeah, I took it out.
Oh, you did,
Yeah.
okay.
We can go to number 6A, which is update discussion of Madison Metro ridership and rollout and, what's next.
Oh.
So. Of course, since I, didn't see this agenda before I left, even though I was checking the email, I also have. We have, first of all, the ridership that they did for all last week, which gives us. The boardings at each stop, eastbound, westbound, for the whole week. During the week of 38.
Yeah, I guess I made copies about the front and back.
And I have tons of copies if we need more copies. So that's the first page you have on is, you know, eastbound and westbound, all of the stops, and the number of boardings for each of the stops, for the weekdays, eastbound and westbound. And then on the second sheet, you have, the total, sorry, eastbound and westbound, by time to give you the average.
I need to make copy. You don't have the correct
Oh.
one. You don't have the front and back, do you? I
What?
must make copies. of that.
Is the packet?
No, I have all of these,
Oh, you
you
do?
don't need to go out, yeah, I'll hand them.
Yeah,
out.
I've got all of them on my, well, on my device.
Okay, so I'll just hand out to people what I have.
But is the digital
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah.
I got it then. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, this is what Metro started, and this is important because one of the things that I want to discuss tonight is what data do we think is gonna be most important for us to be tracking, right? So for the first 3 days, Metro just gave us the number of boardings at each stop. And so I'm gonna pass it around, that's Monday.
Oh, this is updated.
This is
No,
a different sheet than
okay,
what, than what, yeah, so just take one and pass it to. This is, sorry, I didn't get a chance to collate everything. And this is Tuesday.
I have. Oh, I see.
this is a summer. Average daily. That's
Got
what's
it.
up.
I was just-
This is Wednesday.
That's good.
It's two-
Okay, so some of them are marked and I tried my best running out of the house to get, right? And then, so on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, what they gave us, and Laura, I'll make sure you get these since we were sent these by Metro. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were the first, second, and third days. They sent us the boardings by stop and the total boardings. And then at the end of the week, Nick sent us two different things, which was the first one that he sent us was our average daily eastbound and westbound boardings by time, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And then average daily eastbound, westbound by stop. And that's all for 38. Right? And then we asked them for what's going on with G and L. So the last one that I just sent around was for G and L. And that's actually Monday through Friday and then Saturday and Sunday separately for G and for L, which again, G and L would take us on Broadway and on Monona Drive.
Laura, I snapped photos of those and emailed them to you there, so you should have those in your inbox right now.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just didn't get a chance to do that before I left the house.
No worries. We are.
So, so first, let's go to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday first, if we might. I think what, and I'd be very open to listening to what people, I think one of the things that I know we were surprised at when we got it and we asked Mick about it was the numbers at Dutch Mill.
Yeah, those stand out. And
you
just
know-
for Laura, that you're looking at like 39 boardings
On Monday.
on Monday
people
at
are
Dutch Mill. Perfect.
Driving there to parking.
Yeah.
Bus downtown.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
Yeah, well, and what Mick said was when they started, cause I was like, really, 40 people at Dutch Mill or however many at Dutch Mill? And there's two things. One is, you know, we gotta remember that that's one of the premier time stops. for the drivers, which means the bus driver, that's where the bus drivers stop the bus. And that's where they get to get out to, use the restroom, get a bite to eat, have a cigarette, whatever they need to do before so the bus frequently is their longest because unless they're behind, that's really kind of their starting point, that they get themselves back on schedule,
Mhm.
right? So, so that's one thing is that the bus is there longer, so conceivably you could see a Van Galder or a Badger bus or something, multiple buses coming through, or people coming into the parking lot, number one. And number two, as Nick said, when they started the BRT, that in the first few days with similar time stops like this, they had a really solid or big ridership because people were just checking it out.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
give it a try.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, my assumption is people from Prairie or not from Prairie, Corona or something, south of Madison,
yep,
don't wanna pay $200 a month to park
Park there.
downtown.
yeah,
And they're willing to sit on our bus for half an hour until they get there.
Mhm.
that's all, that's a possibility too. I mean, I
But
think all of those.
For me,
Yeah.
I would assume that number is gonna hang there, cause
Yeah,
it seems like
Mhm.
that would make the most sense, not. Curiosity would surprise me, but
Yeah.
commuting. would make sense to me, but-
yeah, yeah, and I don't honestly don't know, since I don't know the bus times coming from Verona or coming from Pittsburgh, since they've reached out to
True, right,
those
you know,
communities now too, who knows?
so,
Right.
whatever, you
Yeah,
know.
we finally saw-
I know, yeah,
And it's interesting that Monday, Wednesday numbers were almost identical with Tuesday. So I wonder, like, for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, work at the office people and the Tuesday, Thursday from home people or somewhere that,
right,
who knows? It'll be interesting as time goes on.
right. So the
It
other
is.
thing that I would say about these, again, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday sheets that we got from Metro, is just in terms of our discussions with Nick on Friday of the first week was. He was definitely, because I asked him if Metro had some sort of a metric they were hoping for in first week. And he said no, but that he was quite confident that these numbers surpassed what they did in Sun Prairie.
Yeah,
They were very happy.
Mhm.
They were very happy and we did, for those of you that don't watch the local, may not watch the local news. We had on Monday morning, starting at 5 AM. So I was up at 3 AM. We did live broadcasts every half hour, on 27. And I was there for the first couple and Mark was there too. I didn't know Mark was gonna come, but he did, so he rallied too, and Nick came from. and-
He did a
and
good
Nick
job.
lives in Wanakee. So, I mean, that's a drive for him to get here, and so we were all here, and like I said, every half hour they did broadcasts, and the young reporter and. The camera guy, and then on Tuesday. We had Channel 15 here. Who did a taped thing, but I saw both, on rebroadcasts or broadcasts, like when I got home and my feet thawed out, I watched the last two that Nick did, for Channel 27, and, they just did a really nice job in the studio, setting the whole thing up, and then they went to the live.
Yeah.
And when we started, of course, it was dark out, so, but we did catch they did catch at the very end, they caught the
I
first.
almost missed it.
Caught the first bus, which is 611, it
Yeah,
sits
yeah.
in the city hall, so, so they got a little bit of the bus too. And then there were people like Jillian that did selfies, and, in fact, most of the people that have been riders of Express. On Sunday, the day before the start, there was a gathering at Waypoint to say thank you to the bus drivers of the Express and Lyft.
I'm so glad we did that.
And and as soon as I found out about it from Brian, who sent out the thing on Facebook, I decided I was gonna go. I wasn't sure what the reaction was gonna be. And I scrambled and was able to get 3 Monona t-shirts to give to the drivers, and a small gift, and as it turns out, like, they're all completely, first of all, the bus drivers themselves were ecstatic.
Mhm.
Abdullah wasn't there, but Bill was there, who used to drive, used to,
He retired, what, 18 months ago or
Yeah.
something?
yeah.
He was really friendly.
Oh, that's
Really
great.
nice guy.
Yeah.
So Bill was there,
Yeah.
and Bob was there,
Oh my God.
and Bob said, you know, I have a full-time job, I don't need this, I just did it for kicks. And Ivana was not only there, she made a cake,
Mhm.
and in the top of the cake was a cutout of the Monona Express bus. I have a picture on my phone,
Yeah. it
all
really
very
is.
sweet,
And
and
share, that's fantastic.
and we had all, it just by accident in some respects, we had, Teresa and I and some friends had just been to the rally at the state capitol for Ukraine.
Mhm.
And she had just been she was there too, although we didn't run into her there. And anyway, she said that cause I said, have you talked to first student about making a transfer to, because they're looking for drivers. I mean, they're posted everywhere looking for drivers for paratransit. And she said, I don't wanna do paratransit, and I've decided, this is a great opportunity for me to go back to my training and my love, which is that she has a degree in recreation, like
Yeah.
being a gym teacher at school. You know, so, and so she was working on getting all of her materials from Ukraine so that she could start the process of that kind of employment, and so they were all in great spirits, and the riders that were there, were super great too, and they were all super pumped about
I
getting
saw
on that.
people who were there on the bus. That's right.
Yeah. they
Yeah,
were telling funny
Yeah,
stories.
because Jillian was there too,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, everybody was like,
Saw them
love
all
you
and
guys, super excited that Metro's here, you know,
Oh, this is great.
so, and then the next day, like. Not, 2 days in, Jillian took a fantastic picture of herself, it's adorable, at the bus stop. I just love that picture.
I was so excited. I was
It is
waiting there
cute.
like with my umbrella, just.
Yeah. With the
Burning
38
content.
back.
Anyway.
Will took it.
I was thinking that
Yeah,
March 3rd, that the world was gonna end when the service started in town.
yeah,
But it didn't, it was still a peaceful community that I remembered, so
yeah,
I don't think,
yeah.
I don't know if people are like, oh, I guess it's not so bad, maybe that's. maybe
Well, I know
people
I
don't
drive all over town a
But-
lot, and I think I've only seen the bus twice.
It's not,
Yeah,
I
it's
saw,
not
I've
that
seen it
bad.
once and
Yeah.
I was like, it doesn't look wrong, it doesn't look out of place here, it looks,
Oh, that's a
Like it
really
didn't work.
good way to put it. It doesn't look out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it just looks good to me, so I don't know.
yeah,
I
I'm
was like,
surprised. I'm surprised how quiet it is.
yeah.
I mean, as I was, like, I just popped down on that first cold morning. I was walking my dog toward, the library, and the bus came up behind me, and I almost missed the very first bus because it was so quiet. I wasn't paying attention, and then you guys started cheering, and then I looked around like, oh my gosh, it's right there. It's like this
Yeah.
amazing, beautiful,
Yeah.
shiny new bus, yeah.
Yeah, so it's so, and then, like, on Monday, Jillian sent a picture on Tuesday. On Monday, Bill Graff did it
Yeah.
first thing in the morning when he was going and posted it on Facebook, and Brian did one, I mean, so people were literally posting on Facebook, with grins.
And, yeah.
Jim Keck did too,
Yeah,
yep, Jim
yeah.
Keck did too, so.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we're, again, can't thank this group enough, and I think we're off to a good start, so. So anyway, the first 3 numbers, as you can see, we get the numbers at each stop and we get the total. And then if you look at the other sheets that Metro sent us at the end of the week. We get the total boardings. With by week, And then, on one of them, like G and L, right, you get the total boardings. Total for the days or for the week. And you get average,
Hmm.
boardings, and then the other one, and that's for G and L. And then we have the other one that the email is dated March 10th, it's average daily eastbound, average daily westbound for the entire week based on time. And then also based on stops. So do people have any thoughts about? What data would be?
Did they give any data on paratransit?
They did not.
They have
Yeah,
not,
I was gonna ask about that. I do,
yeah,
one thing with that, I talked to, like, we had a department head meeting, we were talking about Metro. I don't know if I told you, Doug, there was 0 complaints, actually, people actually. Talked to them about maybe expanding the service, just a couple people, so that was our only complaint.
Oh, so,
Oh.
wait,
the
so
service
Metro
wasn't
got
big enough.
calls from people.
No, we get the city hall.
Oh, city, Monona got
Yeah,
calls
like
saying.
department
"We want
heads.
Our service.
Yeah.
Not-
Yeah.
But
I got into a conversation with some friends about the exact same thing.
But
They
this-
said we love it, but
Specifically-
it's not really where it needed to be. They were
Nights
saying-
and weekends or earlier mornings, what was?
They never
Where
said
were
it.
these
Okay.
people?
My
Oh.
friend lives on Winnicott, and I was asking about her kids taking the bus to the university.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, yeah, they will, but it doesn't come frequently enough as they would
Yeah,
like.
oh,
So
sure.
whatever.
That's a tricky.
But it's it's a starting place, what
Yeah.
we've got right now,
But-
it's just a start.
I did talk to Diane during that meeting, talked about, she is noticing an uptick with actually seniors coming to the senior center.
Oh, wow.
That she's actually a little, not nervous yet, but
yeah.
she's like, it's actually.
I
to
talked
a
to her today too, and what it was a bunch of cribbage players
Yeah.
that came from McFarland.
Oh,
To play cribbage
Yeah.
at our senior center, and mind you, the senior centers. All over town share, I mean,
They're shared.
they share all the time, because
Yeah.
McFarland has some program that people likes and. Then we have programs that the other people don't have, and Madison have programs other people don't have. But our senior center is definitely held in very high esteem.
Mhm.
And so she got a little bit nervous because it was a group of like 6 friends that came in to play cribbage from like McFarland. She's like, we're using the bus.
Yeah.
And so she,
Just since of Madison people too, so
yeah.
or just coming in
Or
from
the Madison
surrounding
Farm,
areas, cause they
so-
like the senior center.
Well, we can cross that bridge.
Yeah.
And then she also had some concern. Because she's got some volunteers that take the bus to volunteer
She
and
did say
it's
that.
more expensive for them.
Mhm.
And I suggested to her that one possibility could be. The friends of the senior center. Have their own little
Yes,
fund to
yeah.
support things going on at the senior center.
Yeah.
And I know it's healthy at the moment and so I said, well, you could always offset, you could ask the friends.
And the
Um,
mechanism is so easy.
Right,
Because you can buy a card. You
Right.
put a number of rides on
Yeah.
it.
That's
And you
right.
give it to someone and they just walk on the bus and it goes beep and they
Right.
ride the bus,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly, so it would be easy for the friends to subsidize the volunteers that actually are taking the bus to
Okay.
volunteer there,
Okay.
right? To work there as volunteers.
So I've had my eye on
Yeah.
kind of 4 stops that I'm really curious about,
Yeah.
right? That kind of shows us. So the 2 that I think stand out here are, of course, pickups at Dutch Mill Park and Ride.
Yep.
Which I think we talked about that already, which is fantastic.
Yep.
The other one that I'm kind of keeping my eye on is labeled here, a Monona at Cold Spring, which is the high school.
Yep,
So I'm kind of curious to see if we see a surge, because this is a new
Yeah,
transit kind of thing where Monona students can get on the bus or can go to Park and Ride and whatever and get to school. So I'm kind of interested. The problem there, of course, is,
Get on
hiccups.
that's so
Yeah.
hard.
that's the hard part.
hiccups at that spot in the
Yeah.
afternoon.
Can you say that again, Jane?
We don't know where people are getting off,
yeah.
so, so pickups in the
Yes, yeah.
afternoon. Would be useful to know, but I can also see people using the bus. Sort of like the way I do, which is using it in the morning and then having a different format. I can see that having a different form of transportation that happened and I can see that happening with a high school where like. The parents are like, you have to take the
Got
bus,
it.
and then they might go home with a friend after
Sure.
like a sports
Yeah.
practice or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, so those are kind of
It's hard to capture.
new opportunities.
Right,
Yeah.
The other two stops that I'm kind of keeping, pairs of stops, are looking at Broadway and Bridge Road. And Monona Drive at Flom. Yeah,
That's the
'cause-
G line. right?
yeah, because those are on the G and the
Oh, to
L
see how
on
many people are
existing
transferring.
routes. Yeah, because what, because if what we're seeing is, this is a way we might be able to tell the difference between shifting service versus new service.
Mhm.
So if the G and the L had these big groups of people, big clusters of people getting on at Broadway and Bridge,
yeah,
if that stop pickup drops off, that tells us that those people are probably getting on closer to their house in Monona.
I see.
what
Right,
you're saying.
and similarly from Monona at Flom, is that's on the periphery going out of the town. So people, or actually, no, people at both directions at Monona and Flom. So if we're seeing their regular routes, a change in drop-offs, that might be evidence of people that are picking it up here in Monona closer to home.
right,
Instead of having, because for me, like when I was taking the L route into town, I would leave my house and walk all the way up to Monona at Flom, get on the bus there and take that into town.
right,
Right, and so my bus route would now show up as instead I'm getting on at Monona at Owen. So the numbers of total people at Monona and Flom can go down, and that might show us how many people are getting on in Monona.
right. So with the other two, I'm sorry, with G and L, with Broadway and Bridge, and what was the other one?
Monona at Flom.
I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I think they're labeled on both sides at Monona at Flom, but it might be in the other, yeah, no, it's labeled both.
So. Yeah, the other thing, just in terms of the high, like, for instance, the high school, the other thing that I would mention is that. They just did, Metro just did a day at the high school where they sat at the lunch. There's actually two
Mhm.
lunches at the high school, and that's the best way to capture everybody. So rather than fast fare cards being at the front desk all the time because they have too much going on at school to have the staff be doing that, they requested, could Metro just come in, set up some table, because the kids are used to lunch tables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where people are selling something or offering something. And from what we understand from Will last Friday, he said he thought it went well, and Mick said. Oh, I know, Delphina ended up writing and telling us that at least 10 or 12 kids.
Yeah.
Got their fast fare cards and registered, and there were others that requested. You know, picked up the information and seemed like they were going to register. And then the other, in terms of, so in terms of school participation, it seems like that's gonna be good, and then the other school. We had a lovely little thing about was, Stacy, who's, Levens, who's over at MG21. We were talking about connecting with them and their kids. She learned that they have a sixth grader whose name is Johnny, who takes the bus every day to get to MG21. And he absolutely is like in love with Metro. He loves Metro. And so he's been like the personal ambassador at MG21, talking up Metro and the fact that they're gonna have two stops nearby. And Stacy now has the cards and all of that, but and she has the poster. But she, but he's like the perfect person, so Will's gonna go out. And not only take a picture of him for social media like we've done the other ones, but he's also gonna maybe do a video with him. Because, because he, and when I mentioned it the first time. To Mick and Delphina, who are the two people we've been meeting with from Metro on Fridays. When I said,
Oh,
it's
they
a
knew.
sixth grader named Johnny, and Delphina goes, I know Johnny. And I was like, what, Johnny, and she goes, yeah, he shows up to all of our Metro events wherever we are, he just like, he takes the bus all over town, he's in sixth grade. So I just think that'd be, part of the reason why I asked, were we gonna do a video, because, you know,
Future
again.
Transit
like-
Commission member?
Huh?
Future
Current
transit-
transit commission, is there
Yeah.
a restriction, it has to be adults?
Yeah.
A student member.
Yeah, they have to be.
Yeah, I still remember, yeah, but you know, the thing is that I remember, you know, Teresa saying at one point when we were in the midst of the whole decision, saying, you know, she wished. That we had it, you know, when Kat was in
Yeah,
high school,
yeah.
because as a parent.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
when you get to have a kid that age, and if you're a single parent with a single car and you're juggling, I mean, I remember my own mother. Juggling between my sister's activities and my activities, and the fact that she was working full time, it was her way of paying the bus. One of the reasons why I had a car when I was. My first car was when I was in high school, because my mother just got sick and tired of it, and obviously it happens a lot, or we wouldn't see all the traffic, I
Right,
mean, all the
right.
cars on Wallace right, so. So it's just to say, we're still getting stuff out to the schools, and we're still, you know, and this is and Mick kept saying to us all along, it's been great, saying, don't feel like you have to have everything
Right,
done by
right,
your first
right.
day. You know, this is a building process.
And he also commented that Monona has been one of the most involved communities
Definitely.
they've ever worked with. I mean, just like weekly meetings and all the feedback and just
Yeah,
the volunteer work that's been going on.
Yeah.
It looks like they're off, it looks like it's off to a good start.
I think so.
In 2 weeks. I think these numbers are like promising. You know,
Yeah.
As people like figure it out, I think it's just gonna keep going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it
And
would
we're
be
getting
great
into
if
good
you,
weather too, cause like around here, like I can only imagine, like as the weather gets nicer and like. There's events at Winnequa and at the pool in the summer where kids in Monona would be grabbing the bus to come
Shoot, is
out
that
of the pool.
$5 then,
I,
to
um,
take the bus round trip?
used
to
to,
the pool?
with our old riderships and our
Yeah.
budget, I used to try to kind of
Per
see
ride.
what we were spending per ride.
Yeah,
Yes.
Which don't do that, by the way, you won't be happy to see that,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah,
This is,
Yeah.
after 2 weeks already,
Well, but if you're going.
we're almost to where we were price wise per ride. For students. And I think if like this ridership. I feel like if it doubles, will likely be spending. A lot less per ride than we were before, it's providing service, and again,
And
higher.
people are spending
Value
less
service
money
goes
too.
all week long,
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
Goes everywhere, so even if it stopped here,
Mhm.
you're a couple bucks more per ride. But you're providing a service that's more elaborate, so. I just think that's a metric to track, just to kind of,
Mhm.
to compare. Success from the old service to the new service, and just
Mhm.
keep that and keep tracking that, I think that'll be
Mhm.
good news.
well, I think with the Dutch Mill thing too, I don't know if you're aware, the contract is, more ridership we get them. So they get so they track us their revenues too, so each time somebody gets on Monona gets that revenue, anybody in 38, so they reduce that, our costs
As
by
a
the
ridership.
by the ridership money they receive,
Oh,
so.
wow.
So the more riders, like especially with the parking ride, that's a bonus to our cost, because it
Start
reduces.
advertising that parking ride down.
Yeah.
So it does reduce our costs, well, every community does,
The more people that ride, the less it costs the city.
right, because the way the contract is, that's how with all the other communities.
Sure,
So,
it's not that much money.
well, they track the
It's fair.
revenue, so they take
Yeah.
first thing was doing the same thing.
Yeah,
They track the revenue and then they reduce the cost. So,
great.
I mean, the cost is still next dollar amount, but we'll pay less out of pocket because the revenues will cover that.
Right.
Well, that's in Middleton, so they can start doing, you know.
Yeah,
Because they have
so
parking.
They're talking with McFarland, right? Or
they
Berlin,
already have McFarland.
they already had McFarland. I thought
Okay.
it
They
was
just haven't
Berlin.
gone as far south as Stoughton yet.
Yeah,
And I've mentioned Cottage Grove to Mick multiple times because, you know, if we could get the bus coming from Cottage Grove, if there was a park and ride type area out there. I think that would really help with the traffic, in the morning and potentially the high school, parking issue and everything, because. I mean, I was going out there, cause I was going out there early in the morning, for a while. Out to Wildwood and, I didn't realize how crazy Cottage Grove is first thing in the morning for rush hour.
Yeah.
But of course, there's more and more people, and they have, with Amazon moving in.
Right.
And Amazon warehouse moving into Cottage Grove, they have a huge
Oh, I didn't know
warehouse.
that, I knew
they're
about the
building up
Milwaukee
there.
Avenue one, but they're doing another one? Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
and then they've, their housing is really expanding out there too, although, not as many families as they thought, but still. So anyway, I think that would be great, and he's like, we're talking to him, cause they, So anyway, I think we have a lot to be proud of, and I think obviously this pretty much says to me already that this was a good call.
Mhm.
And as the sum, so, to go back to my original question. Do people want both? I mean, what data do we think we want on a weekly basis from Metro? Do we want the time
Oh,
stops
weekly,
and
whoa.
the stops for all of the routes?
Well, I think we need a little bit more time to figure that out.
Okay,
If you, I mean, also.
Yeah, I
another
think drink
thing-
from the fire hose for a couple
Yeah.
months
Yeah.
probably until we can kind of see what
Yeah.
it looks like.
And then we can get like a richer report that
Yeah.
includes more days, longer periods. We can see trends instead of just 3 days.
Do
Yeah.
they, and they attach it as an Excel, cause I mean, one thing you could do
Right.
is dump it in like a Google Drive.
It
And
is an
then we
Excel
could play with it
spreadsheet,
just
yeah.
to see like what
Exactly.
trends are happening.
There's a lot of data they give you.
Oh,
Yeah.
they'll give it to you.
Is this-
What's in that? I don't know if you notice the tabs. There's a-
yeah, I did notice the
Oh,
tab,
okay.
so when they,
It's a lot.
this gets sent,
Mind
this.
forwarding one, just so we can see what.
That'd be
kind of
great,
information-
and the data made into the group, I guess, so
Well, and
like,
the
for instance,
Metro
this is.
Dashboard itself is gonna be coming online soon,
Oh, they'll have it public facing.
right? Cause
Oh,
I heard,
okay.
I mean, hadn't, like months ago, I remember them talking about a public dashboard.
Yeah,
If you
but I
touch
don't
it.
know if that's gonna give us the details, anyway,
Oh, okay.
but know that, there is, with these emails, there were attachments. And that attachment was the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And it had like 4 different tabs.
Yeah.
The minutia, the minute detail as it was brought in and then sorted several different ways, and so. Including what's on the sheet here, so, I think it's a point well taken, we should probably. Ruminate a little bit about what, and I can send, we'll forward that to you guys.
Could be a nice,
So you can see it.
like quarterly report that we could
Mhm.
get in like the Monona e-newsletter.
Yeah.
Here's how
Yeah.
the bus is doing. et cetera.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I also wanted to bring up safety, because as we know, like Madison Metro had the most significant safety event that they've had in probably 15 years that I've been following Metro a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. When the
That's
bus
right before.
driver was attacked and ran into a building.
Yes.
Now that we're, oh, it was, so, yeah.
Where was that?
Driver was pulling out near Woodman's East.
Okay.
And a
Right.
passenger attacked the driver trying to get off the bus driver lost control of the bus, it drove into a building, destroying the front of the building and destroying the bus. So one, my question was like, now that we're part of this network, did we get any alerts? Like, what is the process when they have a major, like, what does it look like if there's a major safety event? Like,
Yes.
because as transit
That's
commission, like, we should be.
Right.
I mean, I heard about it because, 40 people I know sent me text messages going, oh, look at the bus picture,
Right,
picture.
and we
Um,
found out about it within 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
Nick had gotten a hold of us.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
Metro reached out to you directly. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, and he's, and they're, for all the right reasons, like, cause I thought, for instance, we might get a phone call from the press or something like that, because safety was.
Yeah, it was the
Right,
same-
right.
It was like, what, 2 days before we launched?
And he was, as the professional at Metro, he was very clear in saying, we investigate every single incident.
Mhm.
And every single bus has trackers on it and has multiple cameras on it.
Yeah,
So
those
they
are
can
really
always
valuable
tell
ones.
if it was the bus driver.
Yeah.
Or whether it was something else as to why something occurred. And they investigate every single incident very thoroughly. And take action as appropriate, if any action is necessary. And, and obviously, but though in the beginning, because it's under investigation. They don't share much except for to say, this happened, you
Yeah.
know, it's being
Yeah,
investigated.
they do let us know if it's a Monona, because
Yes.
there was even another one that we were aware of, and they Mick emailed us right away, hey,
fantastic.
so.
Yeah, this is what we
Yeah.
want,
So,
right? It's like
Yeah,
They're gonna make,
transparent safety
Yeah.
reporting, immediate communication about safety issues, like we're hearing about it here in the Transit Commission. Like this is, like, I don't remember, I've been on this commission now for 3, 4, is this my 4th year? Going into 5, I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but I've
Hard to
never heard of
keep
a
track.
safety report coming out to us.
well, I don't think
right?
it's actually physical, they just say, hey, this happened. here's
Yeah.
what we're-"
Yeah,
If
so,
it's
go
Monona
back.
related or a big incident that he
yeah,
did contact
this
us.
is proactive, this is great, this is what we want to see.
Patty, when you asked the question about alerts, were you thinking about like each rider getting a phone alert, or were you thinking of
No.
alerting the community, like the way that many?
No,
does?
specifically us
Yeah.
as contracted
Us.
member.
Got it.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
the
and,
elected.
you know, and
Yeah.
not me, so much me as a volunteer in the Transit Commission, but
Right.
knowing that our government
Got
representatives
it.
to that body were
Yeah.
notified of safety.
Because I
incidents
was
in a
receiving
timely
alerts on
manner.
my phone about delays on certain routes.
Oh, yeah, I need to
But I
sign up for
wasn't
that.
receiving, I don't remember if I received an alert that specifically said anything about
They-
an
They-
act or an
they-
incident. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
because
But
I
it was
assume they were
definitely
saying
like
alerts that
delays.
the,
Yeah.
yeah, the bus route is delayed.
Investigated.
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
making a public statement.
Yeah, exactly. So the delay stuff, it happens.
400 people drove
Yeah,
by
yeah,
taking
yeah,
pictures
yeah.
going, it's a bus in a building, how did that happen?
Okay, so it sounds like we're gonna,
Good
I'll
job,
send
Tasha.
you the spreadsheets and you guys can think about. Uh. What would be,
Right.
given what they're already tracking in the way, like, I'd rather not, if we don't need to, I'd rather not ask Metro to do anything over the top special for us, cause I'm sure. But I'm sure something in there and the way it's presented, it would be great, and we're now gonna meet with Nick once a month.
Yeah.
Touch base with him once a month, and, which is kind of the what's next thing.
Yeah,
But before we get to the what's next, I just also wanted to report, cause I just think it's so cute, so. This is the posters that we put up, we put a few of these up around town.
Yeah.
For restaurants and such, and then this was the Spanish version.
Mhm.
And I just want to report, cause I've been going out and delivering these in my spare time, and I just in the last. Few days that I've been doing it, including today. When I go into businesses, every single business I'm in, like I went into Ken's today. And I went into La Chosa. The best Chinese food place. La
Yeah.
Chosa, right? And I went into El Gallo last week, and every time I go in and I introduce myself and I say, maybe aware that we've started with Metro, and they, oh yeah, we've seen the buses, like everybody on Monona Drive and Broadway have noticed the buses first. And they've all been like super enthusiastic about taking the posters, like today when I went into the Peruvian restaurant. And I'm giving them, with some of these, I'm giving, and then, I'm saying, okay, I have it in English and I have it in Spanish. Would you, do you have a preference, or would you like both? And like today, she was like, I think we need both.
Mhm.
And was really excited about putting it in the window, so. I just think that speaks, and I know Aldo Leopold has also said multiple times, Kara. And her staff over there, they're super excited too, the staff over there, takes buses, so anyway, it's just reinforced from a business perspective. And when I'm talking to them, I'm also saying, it's not only about, in fact, when I was at the Peruvian restaurant today, I said, you know, it's about, letting people know that they can take the bus to your place, including employees of yours, if they need to, you know, take the bus to your place as well, or, you know, if for some reason somebody, you know, drinks too much of your really great wine, because they've got wine sitting on the counter, you know, they can take a bus home
Yeah.
too, so, and she left. So anyway, you know, people have been super receptive about doing it, and these are also, the Spanish ones also at Los Peñas. So, the grocery store, so we're still behind there, so I thought, since it says starting March 3rd. On these. Before we go hog wild, continuing to hand out, cause I think it would be important to keep. You know, keep getting it out to people, I was thinking, asking Metro to take the March 3rd date off,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
And then send us some more posters, in both Spanish and English.
I don't know.
How many do we have left?
not a lot. About
Yeah,
10 maybe,
yeah, so we're pretty short on it anyway.
so we might as well just get the other ones with the March 3rd, without the March 3rd.
I have to apologize, but I have another meeting to go to,
Mhm.
curling club facility meeting,
Uh-huh.
That started 20 minutes ago.
Didn't we just win the national championship or something?
The college did, the
College
UW
did.
team did, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did wanna say that I have enjoyed spending 10 years on this commission.
I know.
Oh my
I didn't even
gosh.
realize it until you told me. And that I actually would have come to the end of my natural term next month anyway. And would have probably let somebody else have a chance to do this
Mm.
wonderful volunteer opportunity. But I think that the best way to finish it up is to have made some actual change in the system that we think is gonna be working well. So I hope to hear
Yeah,
good news, and I'll check in with you guys periodically,
for sure.
just to make sure it's still going well. So,
Yeah, well, when I saw the email and you said you were gonna come tonight, I was.
I'm just gonna disappear.
I know, and
I
you know,
am-
he's part of the reason. Well, tell them the reason why you're leaving.
Well, I'm moving
Yeah.
to a different city of Madison, where they have metro service already. And I don't know what
Recommend
kind
you
of
for their transit
volunteer
commission.
opportunities they'll have there at all, but I was house hunting and found a nice house in Arbor Hills. So not far away from here, but
Really cool.
you know,
house.
it's a cool house.
Architect
Yeah.
designed it.
Kind of a
Yeah.
cute, it's kind of a cool neighborhood, it's a lot, no, it's not on there. But if you know somebody who's house hunting and they want to live here on the
Oh,
cul-de-sac.
okay.
Oh, I was wondering what was going on with your house.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
in that dead end.
So
Yeah, it'll be
yours-
for
oh,
sale
yours-
next month, it'll be in 2 weeks, it'll be up.
Okay,
Yeah, you live no choice.
okay, because I will definitely. Let folks know, because I know it's. been going really
Yeah,
fast.
it's nice, good shape.
Yeah, yeah. And the new one looks great too, and I can't thank you enough for coming.
Well, thanks, it was good to see you guys.
Yeah.
And, hope you guys continue to run this transit system as good as it has been over the years and better, so.
What a perfect way to go, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Done.
honestly,
Somebody
yeah.
was like, Time out.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
this actually was Jay Gannon that he said, we're just gonna bring Metro to Monona and then leave. I'm like, I'm leaving to where they already have it, like, I'm not leaving a place that has bus service, I'm going to a place that has the best bus. service.
Well, that is promised that he's coming back for festival.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
not
and
gonna-
I'll be able to ride here, I won't have to drive.
Yeah, yeah,
Or on your motorcycle.
and, yeah, I was gonna say, you know, if you wanna come next month, because next month is gonna be my next.
Oh.
Next commission meeting, township meeting.
Ooh.
Just
By
saying.
next month,
Ooh. Sorry,
I might be an interloper at that point,
All right.
but I'll see you guys around, so
All right.
thanks
All
again.
right.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
terrific, Doug.
That would be your last one, right?
Yeah. got something better to do.
This is the third, you flip over the third Tuesday, right? Okay.
He's checking out transit business.
Yeah, so, so any other transit business? Besides celebrating, guys can think of, so we're gonna look at the data.
And see if they can give us data on the.
Yeah,
Oh,
they'll,
yeah,
they'll
that
get
was
that,
their
so
thing,
I just let them ask.
Yeah.
I would say if you guys look through and you find like a report that they, I mean. They're really good working with us. There's two people working with Mick and like Defina. So I think they can, we give them what we need and they can get, we can, if you tell them what we need. They'll get a, yeah, I mean, if there's something you need, I think they can put together somehow for us. So you're kind of thinking about this, we need.
Yeah, and
We'll
then
have
he,
run and XLR charts. I like statistical error bars on everything.
I'm right there, seriously, I'm right there. Like
and then
envisioning the
he,
pivot table.
he also, says that he expects, I mean, he actually said it on TV, so it's gonna be pretty real. He expects that credit cards,
Yeah.
will be starting in a month. Within a
Oh, heck,
month.
yeah.
Within a month, so you won't even need the fast card, you can just use a credit card.
So with each thing like that that happens, that's just another opportunity for us to blast out some more marketing, right? A news story, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I don't know if you've been noticing, Will Nemo is our media person. He's been blasting out a lot of stuff right now.
So good, yeah.
So you might even see a picture out there one of these times.
Picture.
Cause he has a copy of it now, so you might see.
Yeah, no, I've already seen it, yeah, he's
Yeah.
been great about putting stuff out, he's been doing PSAs on UMO, and then we did Connect Autos, of course. Which she's helped arrange, and Metro was so excited about Connect Autos, it's on the Metro page.
Oh, great, and that's good for.
Well
Yeah.
done, well done.
So, yeah, so we made it on the Metro page,
Right,
yeah.
I guess I should watch it.
Have you
Forgot
been in
about it.
Had you been in the studio before that?
No, it's.
Wasn't it
amazing.
interesting? Yeah.
It's so.
Super,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
that's a,
wish I was in high school to.
yeah. That's a really cool partnership between the city and the school with
Oh,
that
yeah.
community
And
media.
the kids get experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they get hired by like news stations in
I'm
the
sure,
area.
yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of good success stories that way.
yeah. So it's all good, so if we get new posters from over the next month, or so, if we get, if we get posters relatively soon, it'll take them 2 seconds for their graphics
Yeah.
people to change it, take the March 3rd off. And get us more copies since we only have like 10 or so, could we circle back to that as a potential task to keep getting?
Yeah, I missed the
Posters
first
out.
push being out of town, so I'd
Yeah.
love to help with the second, that would be great.
Okay.
Did you do KinderCare? Cause if not, I will take these two and put them up tomorrow.
Go for it.
That'd be great, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we didn't get the posters to quite a bit later, and then Addie was out of town and Doug was busy, trying to focus on moving
And I
and,
didn't get my
yeah,
places, yeah.
and Laura's been, tied up, so, so basically, we didn't get on the posters quite as.
Yeah.
quickly.
Don't have to do it all on the first day.
Yeah,
That's right,
yeah,
Got the snowball rolling
Yeah.
down the hill.
yeah.
that's
Keep
right.
going.
The more people use
going.
it too, then there'll be word of mouth.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then, I mean, that's what was also exciting, I didn't notice on the side of the bus if there's actually an advertisement on the side of the bus.
I didn't notice it.
But, I mean, that was what was exciting to me when I went into the restaurants today too, like when I went into Ken's and, cause it turns right at Owen, right at Ken's, right? And so I said, so, you may have heard that, Madison Metro is now coming through Leon, and he's like, oh yeah, I've seen it, so the fact that they're noticing it as business people without. And noticing that it's stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
too,
it's good.
is, which it never did, it's great, it's all great. So again, kudos to everybody. And Mark, thank you.
Yeah.
And
You did all.
we'll extend the same thanks to Will. two, and to Diane, yeah, the last count that Mick had on paratransit was there were 30+ people that had,
That many, I was gone on Friday, so.
yeah, yeah.
Wow,
And that was in advance of the March 3rd date. There
Yeah.
was 30 people.
well, I think just the.
Oh, that registered to be
Had right
eligible
to be,
for.
to be eligible, they had already been approved, yeah, for
Mm.
paratransit, and one of the coolest things that we learned on paratransit, too, that we didn't know. Until I went to one of the senior center sessions. Was people said, you know, because they're used to the Lyft drivers being super helpful. And like helping carry groceries and whatever else, so they were like, you know, so some of the seniors at the senior center said. You know, basically, will you carry, you know, will they carry my groceries? And Metro said, no, they won't carry your groceries, but if
Right.
you let the dispatcher know. When you call for the ride the day before, if you let the dispatcher know that you know, you wanna go to the grocery store. Or anywhere you go, if you let the dispatcher know that you have a personal aide to help you, they ride for free.
Isn't that
Nice.
great? Like your buddy can just.
Yeah, so
that's
you're,
so
so,
cool. Yeah.
so they ride for free, and then I just heard from Diane today, cause I was visiting with her at the senior center today, that. There was a person who was riding paratransit and. She kept telling the paratransit driver to pick her up at a certain door.
Oh, yeah.
And he or she was not going at the first day or two, even though that's what she requested from dispatcher. They weren't going to the right door, and she was like. So I just told them again, it's great now, they know where it is, they're going to the right door, so it was all solved, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And
3
then,
days of upsets,
Yeah.
of disruption,
Okay, yeah.
and we figure it out.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
and then one of the
good.
other things that we did was, we did get one person who wrote in a contact form to the city. Who was frustrated
Yeah.
that we didn't have expanded service. Because he was saying that he's a nurse at EW hospitals and they have
Oh.
12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So he was like, I was super excited about this, you know, and now with the schedule, I can't go in the morning and I can't get home at night, so it doesn't do me any good. So I wrote him back, because in fact, he can get a bus in the morning and be down in time for a 7 AM start. And so it's that one-way thing again that you were talking about, where he can do it in the morning. But more important than that, I also said, because he can get back at night, he just can't get, yeah, he has to take a like C. To like
Yeah,
Cottage
did the
Grove.
C to the L.
Right,
That
because
is a lot of
38
time.
ends early.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
how- yeah,
not,
that's how I
no,
end
that's
up getting
Metro,
home
we
when
can't
I-
do anything about the
Yeah.
fact that 38 ends early, so. So anyway, when I wrote him back, I said, you know, please call customer service and they'll walk you through. What you can do on the back end, and then I reached out to the city staff. And encouraged the city staff, if they did get complaints. To make sure to just call the customer, you know, tell people to call the customer service line, cause I don't want anybody. All of us to feel like we have to know that it's a complicated system. I mean, it's not that complicated if you're used to riding it all the time, but if you're new to it. Between all the routes and the BRT and everything else that's going on, it can be, and just looking at the maps or the schedules, it can be complex to look at. Or to figure out, so I just said, and their customer service people have been great, so I don't want the staff to feel. Compelled to know every little in and out and. Time shift and schedule and all that, and I'd rather, you know, people get used to that, so that was. Also. I never heard back from that person after I wrote to him, but at least I know they can go one way. And he, like I said, they can still get back, they just can't.
Come April 1st, we have a big election day. Should we take the bus, you can now take the bus to your polling place? Cause I think both,
Both places do have a route, yeah.
yeah, both places.
I
have
don't
one.
know, like practically speaking. You take the bus there and then
Then you gotta wait for a
you
while.
gotta wait 45 minutes. I mean, I
That's-
guess depending on where you're going afterwards,
Right,
if you're going in the same direction. I mean, maybe based on how the two schedules cross, it could make sense, but. I mean, I guess,
Yeah, the
if it
logistics
gets
of it
people on the
might be-
bus, who cares?
So-
But
the
because we're gonna be
logistics
promoting
might be a
election day,
little-
everybody's on the bus, and making sure.
But I like the way you're thinking, like, there's gonna be
Yeah.
all these opportunities, like, oh, you need to go Christmas shopping, take the bus downtown, oh, you
Yeah.
need to go.
Well, in
Get
fact,
your
I've already
Thanksgiving
talked-
dinner, take the
No,
bus.
but
to-
Yeah,
we
I
get
think
to the
we're
farmers
thinking
market.
about the farmers market
Right,
and other
right.
spring and summer things.
Or come to Monona on the bus for like the 4th of July
And
festival.
I actually was just gonna say that I met with, Brian Henry, who's the new,
Yeah.
president of the community festival.
Oh,
On Monday, and we talked specifically because, you know, the.
Right.
The community festival does, block off the streets.
Yeah.
Mhm.
On Nichols. And so we talked about, we're thinking in advance of, that would be a perfect
route,
opportunity
yeah.
for people. To take the bus
Yes.
and not drive.
Yep.
And,
Or
and we
parking.
talked about
Uh,
where, you know, potentially the bus could end at Schluter. And turn at Schluter and make a slightly different loop or something during that
Yeah.
time, because because they're not gonna be able to get through.
Yeah, so we have, for any event, we have to contact them and they redesign the route, so.
Exactly, and so
So
we're already
he's the chief.
thinking ahead to that and.
So in Maywood or whatever, Schluter, go down and wrap around,
That's.
Right.
what it call.
Right, so we'll figure it out, we got
Yeah.
plenty of time, we'll figure it out for that, and then we also need to probably figure out something for early in the morning, although it's on the weekend. It's still on Monona Drive for the parade,
Yeah.
so we'll have to figure out for that, but you know, again, those are all good problems to have.
Yeah, that community festival is gonna be a really great. On the radar, that'll be our next big, I mean, think about the congestion after the fireworks.
Yeah.
That we could possibly like. Take a bite out of, like,
Well, you won't put the buses. on
Well, but
that
the
way.
bus is still, yeah.
on Monona Drive, though, they.
They would be on
Monona
Monona
Drive.
I
Drive,
mean,
but
if
not,
you- I mean, I know it's not.
Yeah.
You know,
But people could, I mean, the people who could. Who bike but might not bike that. You know, they might be able to take the bus, take bikes on the bus. and
Right.
Well, there's a whole bunch of people for the festival, of course, that are there during the day, there's people that
That's
come for the
true, yeah.
arts piece, there's people that come for the carnival.
Yeah, yeah.
earlier in the
Right,
day,
Right,
wife
right,
carry- Right, the wife carry, the
Mm.
golf. Whatever that golf, you know, game is called, right, so there's plenty of other
Yeah.
activities during the day that people don't necessarily, you know. The night of the fireworks, obviously won't be running, but. All right, do we have anything else?
Nancy, I'm just wondering, I mean, I know I'll have opportunities to talk with you, but,
No, that's it, you'll never talk to me.
but
again.
yeah. So. But I'm just like, in what's going through my mind is like, what do you see as like? The next big focus that you would like this body to, or
Just
I
what we
mean,
talked about.
everybody,
I
you
mean,
know?
just getting a dial on what we, you know, continuing to market and push out what we're learning.
Right,
I wouldn't say, let's, you know, we should stick with what we've got
Yeah.
for right now. We
Yeah.
don't need to be expanding or doing anything different. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it would be folly to do
Yeah.
that from a data perspective. So we go through a season or two, cause obviously it's gonna change in the summer. It might be better, might be worse, who knows? But anyway, I would say data and continuing to get the word out and be creative about getting the word
Mhm.
out. And making sure that we're on top of things like the farmers market and the events so that we can do that.
we'd floated kind of the idea of maybe looking at school time congestion and how transit can help. Support the schools, school transit better as
Mhm.
kind of, you know, as like
Yeah,
our next 10-year project.
yeah,
You know, as a need in our community that affects a lot of people, that's levers that we can pull.
yeah, and I mean, you know, just thinking even this year, I mean, we're gonna have. Another. Several hundred people by the end of 25 in town because the bloom will be bloom has to be done by the end of this year and Basil will be done by the end of this year.
Mhm.
And North Point, development, which is Broadway. Townhomes and lofts is done and full, and they're building a second building down there that's gonna be for 55 and up seniors.
Mhm.
And they've got, a bus stop right across the street, cops, so. I think as our population continues to grow, bus use will continue, and we've tried really hard to connect with One City Schools. To do the same thing that we've done. With MG21 in the high school, but it's just, they're just really slammed, so it might be that we don't end up saying when they're until the end of the school year, but.
Yeah.
It's all good. Okay, Laura, how are you hanging in there?
Okay.
Good, good. Okay. All right, well, unless anybody has anything else, that's all I have. Mark, do you have anything else?
No,
So I would be happy to take a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Seconded.
and I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, dear Laura.
Aye.